Hey, what's going on, friends? That was a terrible start. What's going on, friends? Thanks a lot for stopping by again. I had some really nice comments and requests to do another one of these voiceover videos for some film that I have shot. And I just shot a roll of Kodak QL17 GIII that I wanted to share with you. Kodak QL17 is kind of one of Kodak's all-time legendary films. It has a stellar reputation. It's just a classic film, and decided to put it through my Canonet QL17, which is kind of a classic Canon rangefinder camera. The copy that I got on eBay was not in the best shape. The film door doesn't stay closed for the length of shooting an entire roll of film, and so I had to give that an upgrade, and by upgrade I mean I had to put duct tape on it. But the glass is still perfectly usable. So let's jump into the pictures and let's talk about them. I'm drinking a delicious maple black tea, in case you were wondering. That is what I have here as I'm recording this. Anyway, this is typically known as the first of the roll. It's a shot that's kind of your burner image because this part over here has already been exposed to the light. It's kind of like the piece that hangs out the end when you pull it over and all that stuff. You've probably seen that before. So usually the first couple of pictures on a roll of film, unless you're just super precise or you're using an automatic camera, are, you know, sometimes burner images. But this is the first of the roll, and this one is kind of similar. You can see it's got, this part may have been exposed to light. Anyway, so let's get into the actual pictures. So the first one, I was out doing some photos for one of my friends, Allison, and we did those on a digital camera. This one was shot on my film camera anyway. But yeah, I will leave her Instagram linked in the description below if you want to go check out her fashion blog or her Instagram. She does great work. And yeah, we had a good time shooting. Found this nice like bus van transportation machine thing where we were shooting, and I was like, I think that graffiti would look kind of cool with the grain of this film. So, you know, we made it happen. This one was kind of cool too. We had literally about 4 minutes of sun that day. If you don't know, I live in Portland, Oregon, and sun is kind of hard to come by during some months of the year. And so I was like, quick, run around. We got to find somewhere else to take another picture. And this one kind of turned out cool because in real life, this doorway is like a super, super dark green. And this is like a cream white. And so I was like, these colors are going to look really, really nice. Obviously, it's a black and white film, but you know what I mean. It's going to look nice on film. Turned out to be a pretty good shot. And this was a van that someone had painted up with the Portland Trailblazers logo that was parked near my car while we were taking some photos. I was like, well, it looks cool, so why not take a picture of it? And it was parked underneath a tree, so I was like, I'm going to get some of the sunlight in the background. And yeah, we'll just see what it looks like. And it turned out okay. It's nothing super special, but it's kind of cool. So after we did that photo shoot that day, I went over to Allison's house with her husband, River, and they have a balcony that I really like. And I literally sat on their balcony waiting for someone to walk under it so that I could get this shot. I really, really like this shot, honestly. I like I don't know, he just seems like perfectly centered. I don't know, it just works for me. I kind of like it a lot. This one, I did not have high aspirations for. I really didn't think this was going to be that great of a shot, but honestly, this one turned out to be one of the best ones on the roll. Something I'm finding out more and more about film photography is how much more important light is, and the emphasis that I put on shadows in my photography. And this is a really, really good representation of that. When I first started shooting film several months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I was trying to emulate digital images and trying to have like the sharpest thing possible. I didn't want any films with a grainy texture. I just wanted something that looked like digital photography, and I have already just vacated that point of view so quickly because, you know, it just doesn't feel like you're shooting film when you've got these massively sharp edges and everything looks perfect, and it just doesn't pull the feeling out of people the same way that shooting on a nice like grainy texture film, you know, that texture kind of becomes part of the image, kind of becomes like another character in the scene. And so I'm really enjoying that aspect of just kind of learning to enjoy the grain and to kind of incorporate it into the shadows and things like that. So anyway, I really like this picture. This one was from a photo walk I did that same day. Thought the shadows were kind of cool, and bikes are absolutely everywhere in Portland, so it's not uncommon to see one chained up like this so that somebody can't steal that front tire. This one, I really wasn't sure how it was going to come out, and I really wish it had been a little bit sharper, honestly. The focus was really hard to nail in this one, but these two things were just sitting on the sidewalk with a free sign, and I wanted my feet to be in focus, I think was the aim, and I missed that, but the free sign is in focus, so I guess that's okay. One thing I'm trying to get better at, or more comfortable with, is how to shoot people in the streets. Street photography is a very different animal than, you know, posing people or you know, landscapes, which, you know, people aren't always or often involved in a landscape photography and that kind of stuff. So you end up with people who either don't want to be taken a picture of, which is totally fine, totally understandable, or or they're okay with it, but they think you're taking a picture of something else, and so they scurry out of your scene, which is not what you want. You want them as part of the scene. So I was hoping, I'm you know, all that to say, I've been working on trying to get better at taking pictures of people and being more discreet and all that. So this one, I liked this group of people that were walking up towards me, and this was kind of one of those cases where they were like, we can tell you're taking a picture and we're trying to get out of the scene. And you can kind of see her face. She's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. But yeah, they were really cool about it. We laughed after I took this picture. I liked the light and the shadows in this picture as well. I did, it looks like this side, I did kind of blow out the highlights over here because I lost a lot of detail in these bricks. But I like this sign. It's all old, and I don't know. It's just it's a cool picture. I'm just finding that a lot of film photography is me taking time and taking in my surroundings and just looking at things around me, because you only have 24 or 36 opportunities, and with digital, fire off a ton of pictures all at once, just burst images, and you can't do that with film. You will run out. And so I'm finding that I'm taking pictures of things that catch my eye a little more heavily and evoke more feeling and more emotion than, say, just taking my digital camera out and just firing off a blast of pictures. And so when I get these pictures back, I'm looking at them and trying to see all of the things that my brain saw when I was taking it. So it's like hotel sign of some sort, a fish grotto seafood restaurant, nice big sign here, Harvey Milk Boulevard, Southwest Stark. These weird blinds, some of these windows not having blinds, or blinds up or blinds down. There's just a lot of different things to see, especially within street photography, because a lot of these scenes will never happen again. And you've caught that moment in time, which is the same for all photography, but I think it just is more evident when you're shooting with film. This is almost exactly the same spot as the last picture, but I turned to my right and I got down on the ground to take a picture of this dirt bike that I guess is street legal. Not lots of people walking around, milling about downtown Portland. Very nicely framed, at least. This one, it looks a little bit better on my phone and in the file than it does on this computer screen. It looks like all of this is completely blown out. It's really not. But yeah, that's a shame that this looks as blown out as it is, because the actual file itself is not as bad as this. But yeah, it's still a nice picture, and like I said, I've just been focusing on like light and shadows and just kind of the way a picture makes me feel. Tea is coming in handy tonight. This is another one I really liked because I was waiting for some people to walk into the shot, because I really liked this neon sign over here, this shoes sign, and I was waiting for somebody to walk into the scene. It's funny, you know, taking these film photos, it just makes me like wonder all of these people's stories. I feel like when I take digital video or digital photography, I don't ever really think about that kind of stuff. This one, I was pretty proud of myself because I stood outside of this coffee shop and these people were in the window and they looked like they were having a grand old time. And I stood there, I waved at one of them, the female in the background, and I just held my camera up and mouthed, "Can I take a picture of you?" And she kind of shrugged and then said something to the guy here, and she kind of tapped him on the shoulder, and he didn't want to look at me, and so he just gave me this amazing side eye, and she laughed. I'm very happy with how this one turned out. This is one of the better street photography shots I've ever taken, whether on film or digital. So super happy with that one. This one actually happened right after that, so probably the best 2 street photography pictures I've ever taken happened within about a 3-minute span of each other. I just kind of, I had watched a few photography videos that day about street photography tips and just being ready to take a shot, and I had my, you know, I had a frame advanced, and I kind of pre-focused to a certain depth in front of me, and I set my shutter speed and I metered for the light and everything, and then these guys were having a conversation at a crosswalk, and as soon as this guy turned and started laughing, I was like, this is perfect, and it turned out great. So if you know this guy, tell him thanks. We walked into a camera shop, to a photography shop in downtown Portland. I can't remember the name right offhand. The Shutterbug, I think is what it's called, actually. But they do film processing and scanning and stuff there. So while we were looking at cameras and film and stuff, I just kind of peeled off and knelt down next to the counter where they were drying off some film. Thought that was kind of cool. A picture of film having been developed on film that is now developed. And again, you know, this is just kind of going to be a recurring thing, I think, with the light and with shadows on my film photography. I'm really enjoying that a lot. I think this is a good example of like how the grain kind of becomes an extra character in the scene. It just kind of gives it a little bit more feeling, as you know, as opposed to digital. This would just all be razor sharp and you wouldn't even think about it. Get some really nice tones in here with the grain. It doesn't go all the way fully black until you get all the way down here into the shadows. It's kind of nice. This one was over by some food trucks. This guy was vaping, and I was hoping I was going to get him puffing out an enormous puff of smoke or vapor, I guess, if you want to call it that. But he seemed like he was having a good day. He was just listening to music and vaping, I guess, waiting on his gyro. For some reason, this caught my eye. I'd never noticed it before, but this corner in downtown Portland, each of the 4 corners has the direction that the corner faces, and this one faces east, eastern, obviously. What I was most happy with when I got this picture back was the framing. The V up here is really, really like top notch, and where I was standing is like straight in the middle. So yeah, I was just really happy with that one. Not a whole lot to say about this picture, but the framing I thought was really, really nice. This one, I don't know what I was doing with it. not a whole lot going on here. Again, not a whole lot going on here, but it does have some nice like leading lines, which is something that they teach you in photography. Make your eye start somewhere and end up somewhere else. I don't think I nailed the focus in this one, but it's a good example of leading lines. Some nice shadows. This one, I wish this Subaru was not here, because I really, really like the outside of this building. Just the brickwork is very, very old, and it's got like, you know, the paint of the Oregon Transfer Company. I'm not sure exactly what a transfer company is, but all of these old windows, and again, this brickwork is just really, really nice. I think it kind of matches the vibe of the film, which is cool. I thought this one was pretty cool. Obviously, the sky on this one is completely blown out, but I really, really liked it. Again, I like the brickwork of this building in the Pearl District. Famous brand hams and bacon. I thought that was pretty cool. Just some more pretty neat old brickwork and masonry going on in these buildings down in the Pearl District. I really like what they've got going on down there. A lot of really good architecture in that area. So if you like architecture photography, that would be somewhere you might want to check out, the Pearl District in Northwest Portland. This one, I'm very, very happy with it. I woke up one, I don't know, it was a Saturday or a Sunday morning, and the light was coming in the bedroom window just the perfect way. The dogs were calm, and I was like, yep, I got to get a picture of this. So this is my boy dog, Timber, and you can see he's got one eye open, just kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you disturbing my slumber? And then the girl dog back here, and she's taking over the head of the bed here. She's asleep, and Kasha's out too. But yeah, I love this picture. This is one of those that you're just like, all of the feelings in the world in this picture, and that's kind of what I was going for in this film journey. I really, really love this photo. This one's kind of cool. It's kind of the walkway into one of our guest bedroom downstairs. But I just liked the way the light was coming in and the shadows and all that stuff. It's kind of cool. I left my camera in the car with me as we were out and about one weekend, and I was waiting in the car while Kasha was getting some stuff at a craft store. And the craft store had a putt-putt golf course and a food cart. I'm not sure what kind of food they sold, but they had a food cart, and the gates were open to it. So I was just like, it looks kind of cool to me, so why not? And this is in that same parking lot. I thought this was kind of a neat photo with kind of an empty parking lot and some trees, and then this shopping cart was just sitting there. This one I'm very proud of. It took me probably 10 minutes to get this one right, because I wanted this American flag, well, not that you can tell that, but it's an American flag on a pole that's behind me, and the sun is behind me as well, as you can see with the shadows here. But I wanted the shadow of the shopping cart to the left, and I wanted the flag to blow back to the right, and I could never catch it at the right moment. And I think Kasha was ready to go, and I was getting frustrated, and I was just like, okay, the next one that's not overlapping the shopping cart, I'm gonna take it. And it flapped for me, and I think it looks pretty neat. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. The framing is pretty good, metering is good, it's not blown out. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this photo. This one is at a gardening supply store here in Portland. They have a train in their parking lot, which is kind of neat. But I just thought it looked cool from this angle. Kind of has like bushes and trees growing up around it. And then over here on the side, you've got a bike rack. This is at that same gardening supply store. I was like, I wonder if I can get this sign to be the focal point. And it turned out pretty okay, honestly. It was really, really, really bright, and so it looks like I chose a good shutter speed and aperture so that this would be not too blown out. This is a kind of an interesting way to look at a greenhouse, I think. This is also in downtown Portland. I thought this mural was kind of cool. Just kind of an empty sidewalk and leaves falling off the trees and like winter starting and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought this was kind of neat. More of that masonry that we were talking about earlier. This one I was afraid wasn't going to come out because I didn't think that I was going to be able to get the focus correct. But I have no idea what this business was. It was not on the door. It was just a blank sign. With a sign in the window, you can rate them on TripAdvisor and you can find them on Yelp, and they have their tax certificate in the window, and you can use a secret code for an online discount, but no idea what that business actually is. But I just thought that was a pretty awesome sign in the window. This one I was hoping would again cut out the tops of these cars, but this is also like one of the first rolls of film that I've shot through this Canonet camera, and so I'm still trying to figure out the framing lines and things like that. But more buildings. I liked just the like super straight, stark lines on this building. I thought they were pretty cool. And that, as they say, is it. So thank you so much, as always, for stopping by and just going through this film with me. I have filmed another walk-around video, so once that the roll of film is back from the darkroom and scanned, I will put all that stuff together and hopefully have that video for you very soon. If you would like to see any of these photos and more of the photos that I've taken from my little film journey that I'm on right now, be sure to follow me on Instagram, and I will see you over there. As always, find someone you love, tell them you love them, peace, and be good to each other.